much.
You bet.
I want to transition quickly over to Congress, over to Capitol Hill. No strategy in place yet on ISIS. President's critics are getting a bit louder. Republican Congressman Tom Cole of Oklahoma joins me now. He's also a member of the Defense Appropriations Committee. Congressman, let me start with that basic question that the president was responding to when he said that statement that's been getting a lot of headlines about we don't have a strategy yet. It had to do with going to Congress. What role should Congress be playing in this decision on Syria?
Oh, I think Congress has to be absolutely central. First, I don't think the president should engage in extensive military action beyond what's allowed under the War Powers Act without going to Congress. I think it's important politically, and it's important for the world to understand when we deploy force, we're doing it as a country and not in a partisan manner, that we genuinely are united. So I think the elements of a strategy are there. Look, the president's made it clear, and I think appropriate, that we're talking about airstrikes at some point. We're talking about special operators. We're talking about aid and training for people on the ground, and we're talking about alliances in the region, which I think are going to be not easy to construct, but pretty doable, since nobody on the ground, even our enemies, don't like ISIL.
Well, and speaking of ISIS, Great Britain has had to raise its terror. We have a breaking news here. Great Britain has raised its terrorism threat level to its second highest level. Obviously, they're very concerned because they've had some homegrown ISIS folks that have been taken away, much more than the United States has had to deal with. Congressman, I guess my question to you is, okay, you authorize some sort of limited strikes into Syria, then what? What is the American responsibility in Syria after we're bombing parts of ISIS?
Well, I think our main goal is ISIL, and I don't know that we have a, quote, responsibility in Syria after that. And I think the president is being commendably cautious here about being involved in the middle of a Syrian civil war. I understand, it's at the minimum a three-sided conflict, and probably a lot more than that. So, again, I think moving in unilaterally, other than to go after ISIL, is probably not a very good idea. And moving in unilaterally is not a good idea at all. So building the alliances, again, with friends and sometimes with people that are at least normally our adversaries, but in this case we can work together, is absolutely key to going forward.
Well, you sound actually why that you're on a. You think this could be a fairly more unifying moment in Congress than maybe some of us think?
I absolutely do, and I think it's actually a more unifying moment in the region than we normally see. Again, it's not as if these folks have friends in any reputable country, any place in the world, and I think you're going to see, and probably are already seeing on ground, just as we did with al-Qaeda in the Sunni awakening in 2006, there's going to be a reaction against these guys. They are so brutal and over the top that I think the indigenous populations that they control, that probably welcomed them originally, because they've got such a bad taste in their mouth from, particularly in Iraq, from the al-Maliki government, that those folks will turn on these people. So I think there's an opportunity here to build a strong coalition, and for the United States to play a leadership role.
All right, Tom Cole, I'll leave it there. I had a bunch of other stuff I wanted to talk to you about. It's always good talking to you, Republican Congressman.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you, sir. I suspect we'll be talking some more throughout the fall and throughout the spring.
Look forward to it.
You got it. Thank you, sir. Up ahead, my last TDR gaggle will be here. And it's Friday, so you know what we're going to do? We're going to talk a little